Good evening. Tonight we crown the King of the Crows at the Adelaide Crows Club Champion presentation live from Amy Stadium.
Hello everyone, I'm out the front of the Amy Stadium Convention Centre in readiness for tonight's Adelaide Football Club 2002 Club Champion Award. Joining me now is the captain, Mark Rasciuto. It's a pretty prestigious night, mate.
Yeah, it's a good night. Been lucky enough to win one, and someone else is going to be lucky tonight.
Now, talking of winners, who do you fancy?
I think either Benny Hart or Tyson Edwards will win. They've played 25 games and played very consistently as well, and that's what you need to do.
Well, it's been a pretty good year. Good evening everyone and welcome to the Adelaide Football Club 2002 Club Champion presentation. It should be a good night, an enjoyable night, and perhaps a chance to reflect on what's been a successful year for the Adelaide Football Club, and even a chance to celebrate on some of the many positives that the club has made throughout the year. Of course, the main reason we're here is to celebrate the champion player of the Adelaide Football Club and acknowledge that player, and that will be happening a little bit later. But of the Adelaide Football Club and acknowledge that player, and that will be happening a little bit later. But right now, it's time to go to a great mate of mine. Well, he used to kick the leather about a little bit as a young fella, James Brayshaw.
Thank you, Kimbo, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy myself this evening as well. The Malcolm Blight Medal, of course, one of the premier awards in Australian football. I was just looking through the program before. It reads like a who's who. I'm down at ground level, which is where I do my best work, and thoroughly looking forward to it.
And there's no doubt about that. He's very good at that level. OK, joining me now is the CEO of the Adelaide Football Club, Stephen Trigg. Now, Triggy, you've had a few weeks off, time to reflect. How did you assess the season?
Well, a bit disappointing that we fell one game short of a grand final appearance, but at the same time, as you've heard through the night, many positives. We improved our ladder position, our win-loss record. We blooded a number of very good young players that have turned into credible players. And at the same time, we set out to be really fiercely and consistently competitive, and I think we're able to do that as well right through the season. So yeah, I'm pretty proud when I look back at what we've done over the year.
Now, many of us just turn up to a game, 40-odd thousand, 50,000, and come out to watch the Crows, but perhaps don't really understand the amount of work behind the scenes that happens to get a side out on the ground. Well,
there's an enormous amount of work, and tonight's an opportunity for us to say thank you to people like our admin staff, our support staff, the coaches, the players, the many people behind the scenes, and then, of course, the support you get, as you say, from 50-odd thousand members. And a range of sponsors and coteries led by the magnificent Toyota Motor Corporation. So, I mean, we have great support, and to all of those people and organisations, we say thank you very much.
Now, Triggy, two more things. You're an astute judge, so I want your tip for tonight. Yeah. And also, if you can take us through the voting process for the club champion.
I won't give you a tip, but I will tell you it's going to be very close. In terms of the way the voting is, there are a senior coach and 3 assistants, so there's 4 of them, and they give a range of votes for each player on the day, ranging from 0. 1 vote is beating your opponent through to 4 maximum votes. So if you do your maths, 4 coaches, 4 votes, top marks for the round would be 16 for a player. OK, well, let's hear from the coaches and have a look at how they assess the players.
When I first came to the club, I just thought that any particular player that represents the club should have it probably based on the degree of difficulty rather than just the old sort of 3-2-1 type scenario, because generally, I suppose, I'm coming from a defender's background, that if the ball didn't get down there too often, well, all the kudos used to go to the midfielders and the forwards because they were the kicking goals. But I think this voting system certainly places the degree of difficulty on each particular player, and then you just rate them accordingly, really.
We have 4 fairly clear criteria. 1 vote is awarded if we deem that they've beaten their opponent. Number 2 votes is awarded if we believe that they've played a good game. 3 votes is awarded if we think that they've played an excellent game, and 4 votes will be awarded if we think that they've actually changed the course of a game and dominated a game to such an extent that they are the single most important influence.
I tend to look at aspects of whether the players actually had an influence on the game, whether that be by defensive action or whether that be by you know, more of an offensive or positive approach. And the other thing is how that person contributes to the leadership of the team on that particular day as well.
I really am mindful of what the player's supposed to do. You know, what is his role in the game, and how well he carries it out. And you know, we've also got team rules that apply to, or team commitments that apply to every player. And I guess we look, or I certainly look closely at how well they carry those out as well.
By and large, I think we're all pretty attuned to having a fairly consistent idea, I suppose, or view of who's played well and who hasn't. So I think we get it pretty right most of the time.
Well, hopefully that gives you an insight into the coach's thinking on how they assess the players. So a player can receive from 0 to 16 in one particular game. Time now to go to the highlights and the voting. We'll take a look at rounds 1 to 4. Adelaide got off to a flyer.
A solid pre-season campaign set the platform for a flying start to season 2002. In round 1, Andrew McLeod and Kane Johnson starred as the Crows beat the Bulldogs by 19 points at Colonial Stadium.
Had to get rid of it. The tackle was there. Johnson shot on goal. Kane Johnson's got his first of the day.
Well, the doggies are never easy, but McLeod and Johnson dominated. Biglands came off the bench early, putting in a powerful performance, whilst Edwards and Stevens were also big winners.
Quick as a flash, it became 2 from 2. This time the Cats going down by 31 points in the first home game of the year. The result even more satisfying when you consider skipper Mark Prosciutto was missing with an ankle injury. A solid first half setting up the win.
To the top of the goal square. Puck will fly. Burton's there for Adelaide. Got hands to it. Binky recovers. Dishes it off to Welsh, who kicks the goal. His second.
The man they call Sugar was judged best of field again. Matthew Bode played like his career depended on it. Stevens and Welsh created havoc up forward, and Bickley and Hart were at their reliable best.
A third win in a row made this the Crows' best start to a season in 6 years. 7 goals to 1 opening against the Swans at Football Park saw Adelaide run out comfortable 30-point winners.
Marking power there, and the Crows take the grab.
Adelaide again going forward. Shell gets it to Johnson, who runs inside 50 from 45 metres and kicks an easy goal. A great team performance saw 18 players poll votes from the coaching panel. Bassett and Bickley voted the best, Hart very good again, and Matthew Bode with another quality game.
Round 4 and the first disappointment of the year after a promising start against the Bombers under the roof at Colonial. Essendon kicked 4 unanswered goals late in the first term to take control of the game. In the end, it was the Bombers by 41 points.
What a man. He plays on, but the hand pass away.
Only 9 players attracted votes against the Bombers, young wingman Michael Doughty earning the most. Johnson, Bickley and Welsh gave it their best, while a rookie called John Cox showed promise of things to come. OK, after 4 rounds, Adelaide getting off to a great start with 3 victories. Let's take a look at the leaders board. And we can see Kane Johnson on top with 40, a pretty handy lead early, followed by Doughty, who's been most impressive this year. Hart, the Mr. Reliable. Welsh, who was in sensational form until that injury. Bickley, Bassett, Edwards, Smart and Stevens. As we go along to Bode, McLeod, Biglands, Goodwin, Burton, who ended up being the leading goal kicker for Adelaide. Perry, Johncock, who we'll see a bit more of a little later. And there we see Prosciutto, the skipper, Binky and Shell. Well, let's go back to James Brayshaw now, who's with one of the legends of the Adelaide Football Club.
Yes, it's my job to speak to the contenders tonight, Kim, and we thought we'd better get this next man out of the way early because it might be the last time we see him. Mark Bickley, you've had a very bright and breezy start to the season and you're right at the top.
Yeah, it makes a nice change, but not sure how long I'll stay there, as you mentioned, James.
Now you're running around again, which pleases all Adelaide fans. An agonising decision or an easy one?
It probably wasn't. In the end, it was hard, obviously, because you want to make sure you make it for the right reasons, but my fitness was good. That was probably one of the major considerations, and also the fact that, you know, I think the club's on an upward trend, and I think it's going to be a good place to be around next year.
Can I actually ask the person who made the decision, Tanya, was it hard or an easy decision?
No, we had to go one more year.
Now listen, you're going to Ireland at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Yeah, to Melbourne for a couple of days, doing a training camp, and then Ireland on Monday evening, so that should be a bit of fun.
All right, make sure you enjoy that.
We'll try.
We're going to take a break. Back with more from the club champion after this.
They're the Team Extreme. And someone wants them out of the way.
You guys got 24 hours to find the guy who set you up.
But not if they kill each other first.
You're unarmed, still very dangerous.
Don't flatter yourself, Pee-wee.
Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell.
He's a little upset. He misses his wardrobe.
Me too, Mr. Wardrobe.
They're the all-action juggernauts.
It's a major movie violation.
Called Tango and Cash.
This is the man.
Yes, Mommy.
9:30 tonight on Channel 9.
You've seen it, haven't you?
A creature has been awakened. Extremely intelligent. Unbelievably powerful.
Good luck.
Now, they must devise a plan.
How did they go from 1 to a million in less than a year?
To stop the unstoppable. Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale. Reign of Fire.
In the blink of an eye. Now's the time to invest with as little as $1,000. AXA, ready when you are.
Guess what? Because you buy better at Buy Low, you can afford to top up your tank.
10-pack Coca-Cola cans.
$5.97.
Buy Low, extra value for you.
And your car.
A century of cars, the classic car collection. Every fortnight, a die-cast model and a fascinating magazine. Part 1 Mini Cooper and Collector's Box, only $7.95.
If you're looking for low prices, head down to Bunnings Warehouse, where you'll find the lowest prices every day. We're open all long weekend to 5 p.m, and Parafield is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
With Foxtel satellite installation now as low as $49.95. Drop everything and call 131 999. Get Foxtel satellite installed now from as low as $49.95. Call 131 999.
We had a huge win that day. First time the Rangers had won a netball grand final in 12 years. We deserved it too, I reckon. Trained 3 nights a week on the court, did aerobic work down at the community centre, then the games. So that night we were pretty determined to party. Like, I mean, big time. But we did the right thing. And his dad has this minivan, and the plan was we'd all leave our cars at the pub and he'd drive us all home after. We had the best time, all us girls together, and Fiona was getting on pretty nicely with this guy as well. We all knew him, so it was no big deal when they left together. Anyway, when Anna's dad called for us in the minivan,
She wouldn't have driven, would she?
we noticed Fiona's car was gone.
She wouldn't have been much over the limit anyway.
Next morning, there was this phone call, and that's how I found out about Fiona.
A book that captures all the facial expressions of Brett Burton as he celebrates a goal. And if they don't, I will, because it will be a bestseller. Time now to take a look at rounds 5 to 8. It includes the showdown. Let's take a look.
The first showdown of the season and an 8-point loss, a bitter pill to swallow, especially when the Crows controlled the game for so long. The fade-out noted by the coach, who stressed the need for a full 120-minute performance.
Biglan's timed his lead beautifully, got it to Goodwin, to Johnson. He releases Welsh, who runs to 15 metres out directly in front. He's trying to tell the goal umpire it was a goal, and he agrees.
Highlighting the quality of Showdown 11, 18 players again polled votes, with 2000 club champion Simon Goodwin heading the list. Doughty, Welsh and Hart up there again, with Tyson Stengline warming to the task.
Round 6 and the boys bounce back with an impressive away win over Richmond. Despite kicking 2 goals 12 in the second term, the Crows were always winning it. In the end, the 32-point margin flattered the Tigers.
Wonderfully well, plays on immediately. Then a non-preferred side kick arrives, hits Bassett. Bassett gives it on to Walsh, who bangs it from 50. Goal for 2.
Dual club champion Andrew McLeod was back from his one-match suspension and back to his brilliant best. Bickley continued to turn back the clock. Doughty and Goodwin continued their good form, while Matthew Clark found some of his best.
Next, it was the improving Dockers at home, and 6 goals in 12 minutes in the third term blew the game wide open. The Crows again in control for the best part, running out 29-point winners.
Polak laid the tackle, it came to Bickley, to Marsh, releases the exciting McLeod, from 40 metres out, finishes the job!
Fremantle will leave Adelaide with a loss here, with 2 minutes and 48 remaining. Doughty over toward Hart, Benny Hart, the defender! Oh, he loves kicking goals, he doesn't do it too often, but he's done it right there.
Tyson Edwards had a great day at the office, kicking 5 goals. Ben Hart was at his efficient best. The veterans Bickley and Smart helped lead the way, and Matthew Clark again made life easy for the midfield.
No joy for Mark Rasciuto in his 200th game. The Crows going down to the Kangaroos at the bitterly cold Manuka Oval in Canberra. The loss made no easier to digest, with a season-ending knee injury to Ryan Fitzgerald.
Here they come, Welsh, but the punch came from McCartney. Stevens in the right spot, hooks it around. Can he get enough purchase on it? The distance is very good.
And it was certainly cold, but Scotty Welsh was hot, kicking 5 straight against his old side. Nathan Bassett had the ball on a string, sharing the top honours. The best of the rest were Hart, Clark and Goodwin. And it wasn't cold at Manuka, it was freezing. Let's take a look at the voting after the first 8 games and the leaderboard. And Scotty Welsh, just helping out our Victorian commentators there. Scotty Welsh with 66 votes, Ben Hart 62, Doughty on 58, the Hound Dog Nathan Bassett on 57, Mark Bickley, Goodwin, Edwards, Smart and Johnson. And then we see McLeod, Stengline, Bode, Stevens, John Cock, Biglan's, Clark, Burton and Perry. Well, let's now go to a man. Let's go to 2 men, and one is the most accurate kick in the business. Work out who.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I had Scott Welsh, who is leading the charge at the minute, which is absolutely fantastic. Mate, did you expect to poll as well as you have?
Nah, it's a big shock actually, so yeah, enjoy it while I've got it.
Well, I was going to say you needed to get your polling done early because injury struck you down in the middle and latter parts of the season. Osteitis pubis, explain a bit about it.
Yeah, it's, I suppose you just call it a groin injury, so yeah, just leave it at that.
And how do you go with treatment for osteitis pubis? Welshie?
A lot of maintenance and a lot of just get your pelvic stable, so, and not too much drinking.
Are we finished with it? Is it gone forever now? Is it going to be a clean run next season?
Yeah, hopefully. So hopefully I'll get a good pre-season under my belt and be back into it.
All right, now have you got a tip for tonight? Who do you think's going to win?
I reckon Fresh Prince.
That's Andrew McLeod with a jumper turned around. Scott Wells, good luck for the rest of the count. We're going to take a break. Back with plenty more after this.
In a neighborhood like any other.
Nice going, Dad.
Today I quit my job.
Look closer.
This is not a marriage.
Well, come on, baby, I'm ready.
For the Oscar-winning comedy drama of the year.
Smile, you're at Mr. Smiley's.
You are so busted. Where life is beautiful. Oh, my God.
Starring Oscar winner Kevin Spacey.
I rule.
And Annette Bening.
I'm just an ordinary guy with nothing to lose.
American Beauty premieres 9 o'clock Sunday on 9.
At Woolworths, we've travelled Aussie-wide to bring you this great deal. When you buy specially marked packs of 24 cans of Coca-Cola or Diet Coke for only $15.98 each, you can save 8 cents a litre at any Woolworths Plus petrol outlet. That's right, buy a specially marked pack of 24 Coca-Cola or Diet Coke cans for only $15.98 and you'll save 8 cents a litre. So hurry in, because this great offer is only at Woolworths.
If you suffer hay fever, you could spend months working your way through the A to Z of possible tablet treatments, or you could stop and get relief within just 15 minutes. New AZ, one-stop hay fever relief within 15 minutes.
Everyone's raving about Garage Days.
Excellent. Loved it.
Amazing. It's pretty cool, yeah?
Is the bleeding your parents dry?
Spectacular. Knockout. Vibrant.
Great, excellent. Great movie.
Garage Days in cinemas now.
Radiant Concentrate. Extra concentrated, extra clean.
The internet. It's great for sending emails and finding information. Now there's something exciting from Telstra that lets you do that and more much faster. It's called broadband. It lets you do all your day-to-day stuff a lot quicker. Plus, you can be on the phone while your computer is still connected to the internet. Telstra Big Pond broadband starts from $54.95 a month. Once you're connected, great value at under $2 a day. Call Telstra now.
Look out, South Australia, the four-wheel drive show just keeps getting bigger. We've got the all-new Range Rover, BMW's awesome X5, Audi's All-Road, and all the popular four-wheel drives from Toyota, Ford, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Jeep, and many more. Plus, on display and on sale, over $3 million worth of new caravans, camper trailers, trailer boats, motorhomes, off-road accessories, tents, camping and clothing gear, and all the tools to keep you on track at the Australian Four-Wheel Drive and Adventure Show near the city at Ellis Park on West Terrace. Starts Friday, October 11.
And Co. Well, a number of players have already been acknowledged earlier tonight, and the Coaches Award was won by Tyson Stenglein. Now, the recipient of this award must have consistently done the hard things on the field and will have accumulated the most tackles, shepherds, smothers and 50-50 contest wins during the 2001 season. And Tyson is with James Brayshaw.
Yes, he most certainly is. Thank you very much for that, Kim. The Coaches Award, Tyson Stenglein. First of all, congratulations. Secondly, a reasonably important award to win, I would have thought.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I was just happy to win an award. And yeah, it was great. It was an important one for me.
He's a coach handed out a few tough jobs for you this year. Your toughest, who was the opponent that you'd least like to settle up on?
I suppose they're all tough and all great players in their own right. I'd probably say Michael Voss or Nathan Buckley are pretty tough players and probably the best going around.
All right, mate, now you're about to head off on a trip to Europe. How long are you away, and what does that entail?
I'm away for 5 weeks, and it just entails relaxing and having a good time.
All right, now can we just get a tight shot on the shirt there, mate? Every other footballer from the club's in a blue one, and yours is white. What happened?
I've been copping some grief over it all night. I had a bit of an accident in the grand final breakfast with some red wine.
Which was a week ago. You haven't been able to sort it out since then?
I haven't got any washing tips for red wine, so...
All right, well, we're going to head back to the host, Kim Dillon. Well done, mate, and good luck with the off-season and next year.
And the blue shirt, of course, Tyson Stenglein, winner of the Coaches Award. Time now to take a look at rounds 9 to 12, which included a great victory over the Brisbane Lions.
Better news for the skipper and his team at Optus Oval. 6 goals from the Roo as the Crows romp to a 56-point thumping of the Blues. It was one of the club's best away wins.
That's a long drop punt in the direction. Big mark on the goal line, Stevens.
Mark Rasciuto's love affair with the AFL's boutique ground continued to blossom. The skipper judged best of field. Johnson, Bode, Stevens, Hart and Stenglein all high in the votes.
In one of the games of the season, the Crows beat the reigning premiers Brisbane by 7 points at Football Park. Adelaide turning Westlake's back into a fortress with a sensational win against the best team in the competition.
Shot at goal from Bode is good.
47,279 fans saw Mr. Consistency Ben Hart poll top votes along with Kane Johnson. Bode, Rasciuto and Smart all impressed, while Daniel Schell had his best return with 4 goals.
Former skipper Mark Bickley's testimonial game against Hawthorn was a celebration right from the start. The Crows blowing the Hawks away by 44 points, the former skipper picking up 26 possessions to celebrate in style. The Crows 8-3 at the halfway mark of the season.
Fantastic. The impact he's made on this football club has been second to none.
The Roo kicked 3 and was BOG for the second time in 3 weeks. Ben Hart was up there again. Ken McGregor made centre-half back his home, while Brett Burton and Red Biglands polled well, kicking 3 goals each.
The week's break did the Crows no favours, Melbourne dishing out a 25-point loss at Optus Oval. Adelaide, while not without their chances, could not put the required amount of pressure on the D's, who were in the throes of establishing themselves in the top 8.
Digging deep, Mark Bickley. Oh, great kick to creative stuff. Crow, will he go? He does. Ward also went with him. The open man in the gaping hole at centre-half forward. Chris Massey makes sure of it. He does. Puts it through.
It was a frustrating loss, the coaching panel giving Mark Bickley best, followed by Ken McGregor. Ben Hart thrashed his former teammate Peter Vardy, and Andy McLeod shook off a persistent James McDonald. Yes, Benny Hart really doing a job on Peter Vardy there. Let's go to the leaders board after 12 games so far. And at the top, Ben Hart with 103 votes. Mark Bickley, age shall not weary them. Kane Johnson, Welsh, Bassett, Bode, McLeod, Edwards, Goodwin. Nigel Smart had a sensational year, picking up all the big guns of the game. Mark Stevens playing at centre-half forward. Doughty, a great season, really established himself. Tyson Stenglein, Mark Rasciuto, the Birdman, Brett Biglands, John Cock and Matthew Clark. There you go. That is the leaders board after round 12. Well, they say behind every good player there's a better woman. Let's take a look at some of the best.
It's my life, it's now or never. It's my life.
You may be faster than a speeding bullet, perhaps even more powerful than a locomotive. You may be able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But seriously, would you wear your undies outside your pants? Probably not. Only one man is brave enough to save the world.
Superman.
And bold enough to flash his tacks.
That's terrible.
Superman 2, Saturday on 9.
Don't miss one of South Australia's most spectacular annual events, Barossa Under the Stars, starring the legendary Cliff Richard performing his greatest hits from a career spanning 40 years. This will be his most spectacular concert performance ever, all in the picturesque setting under the stars in the world-renowned Barossa Valley. Come early and enjoy the Food and Wine Village with live entertainment from 2 p.m. Barossa Under the Stars, Saturday 15th of February 2003. This event will sell out fast. Hurry, book now at Bass or Venutix.
The golden rule at Graham's is stand out from the crowd. 9-carat gold bracelet, just $2.99. Rose and yellow gold bracelet, $7.49. Get your free Graham's book and...
Stand out from the crowd.
Graham's Jewelers.
Casual Living Furniture has taken delivery of an exciting new range of sofas in today's modern styles, colours, fabrics and leather. Whether it's a 2-, 3 or 4-seater, Casual Living Furniture has a sofa to suit your decor. Casual Living Furniture, Keswick, Marion and Enfield.
If you're looking for low prices, head down to Bunnings Warehouse, where you'll find the lowest prices every day. Pool salt, just $5.79. 4-piece tearlight kit, a bargain at $17.98. 4-litre in-colour acrylic from $45. A Zito hammer drill, a low $39.97. Glazed pots, just $9.95 per set. And 2 kilogram Thrive, $6.94. We won't be beaten on price. And that's guaranteed.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Peter Jackson, Melbourne's suit specialist, is having a designer suit sellout this Saturday until Sunday, October 13th. $700 English and Italian fabric suits now $299. See us at the Adelaide Showgrounds, Wayville.
Guess what? Because you buy better at Buy Low, you can afford to top up your tank.
250 gram Nescafe Blend 43 coffee.
$6.97.
Buy low, extra value for you.
And your car.
Benny Hart there, looking like a young Beatle. Big round of applause for all the milestones. They have been absolute legends for the club. I thought we could have used that one, Benny, when you had your shorts on from Blackfriars College. We might drag that out a little later. Now, a little earlier, an award was presented. It's the club's Emerging Talent Award. Now, there were 4 people in line for this award: Graham Johncock, Matthew Scher, Martin Matner and Brent Riley. And I can tell you the winner is Graham Johncock. Now, the selection criteria for this award: the player has to be under 21 years of age, as at the 1st of the 1st 2002, and played no more than 15 games with any AFL club prior to 2002 season. And he's with James now.
Yes, he certainly is, and a very worthy winner, one of the real exciting players to come out of the AFL. Doesn't matter whether it's this club or any of the other 15. He has had a terrific start to his career. And Graham, congratulations. The Emerging Talent Award must be a special one for you. It must seem like a long way to come from Port Lincoln to the MCG for a big final.
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty long way from Port Lincoln, but it all pays off now that I'm with the Crows, and I'm very happy with that transition from Port Lincoln to here, so, no, it's pretty good.
Mate, were you knackered by the end of the season? I mean, not only physically, but mentally for a young bloke to come that far and play as well as you did for as long as you did. After the last game, as disappointing as it was, did you just think, geez, I just want to have some time to myself?
No, not really. Being a young bloke and playing in front of big crowds like that, you just want to keep playing footy, and I really enjoyed it playing this year with the boys, and I took a lot out of it, and hopefully next year we can go on to bigger and better things.
Most definitely. What's coming up? You've got a little bit of a break now. Are you easing your way home, or what's happening?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a trip with the boys up to Cairns, so hopefully that'll go all right. Then I'm going up to Broome for a couple of weeks, and then I'll probably go back to Port Lincoln for a couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to it.
All right, now just before we go back to Kim Dillon, I think it's after 9 o'clock. We can just discuss this. The nickname, mate, the Stiffy. Did you have it when you lobbed at the club, or did someone, when you turned up, maybe give it to you?
No, I actually went to the club and had no nickname whatsoever, and all the other boys had nicknames. So I think it was Matthew Robran, Mark Bickley, Nigel Smart, all the older blokes came up with the nicknames. So I don't know what
stuck.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there, but I suppose it's stuck, and I've got to live with it now. So what can you say?
Well, you don't have to say any more. Congratulations on a wonderful first season. Enjoy the rest of the night. And,
thanks, mate.
A terrific career ahead. Kim, back to you.
He's going to have a magnificent career. The winner of the Emerging Talent Award, Graham Johncock, had a fantastic year, and James Brazier on a roll as well. Let's take a look at the highlights and the votes from round 13 to 16, which proved a mixed bag for the Adelaide Football Club.
From Melbourne to Perth, and the result unfortunately the same for Adelaide. This time the West Coast using their home ground advantage well, hanging on for an 18-point victory despite Adelaide's 9-goal final term.
To him at the boundary line. Little handball backward to Burton. Tries to sell the dummy. Still inside on the boundary line. Goes again. Burton bends it back and kicks an absolute ripper.
Yes, Brett Burton kicking one of the most exciting and inspirational goals of the season. He was also voted the Crows' best. McLeod, Rashuto and Clark all prominent as Adelaide fell short despite an amazing fight back.
Back home, but still no joy for the Crows. Collingwood turning them over by 22 points in one of the most disappointing losses of the season so far. Adelaide again came home hard, kicking 5 of the first 6 goals in the final term, but it was the Pies with the points.
Not behind, they even come into play. 4 goals and Adelaide are in the lead. Blind kicking from fullback. A brilliant grab by Bone. Not the free, not the mark, got the spoil. Perry.
The coaching panel, who rate each player from 0 to 4, could only find votes for 9 players. Clark, Goodwin and McGregor the best.
Time to win, and the Saints just copped the Crows on the wrong week. At the newly named Amy Stadium, Adelaide, on the back of an excellent performance from the younger players, delighted to be back on the winners list.
Matthew Bode then swings around, looks for a player. He's going to go long. Johncock at the back. Johncock worked his way to the front, took a spectacular mark.
Yes, back in the winners list, Bode and Edwards sharing the top votes, and some fresh names with Chris Laddams, James Gallagher and Andrew Crowell all enjoying big nights, with Crowell shutting down the dangerous Stephen Mill.
Round 16 and the boys were just getting better. The Western Bulldogs copped their second hiding from the Crows, this time 43 points in Adelaide. Mark Stevens played his 100th game. It was the Crows' first win over the Dogs at Footy Park since 1995.
Smart in the right spot. Nigel Smart's had a good afternoon. Lays it off to McLeod for number 3, right on three-quarter time. Wonderful work by the Adelaide Crows.
Simon Goodwin picked up 13 votes from a possible 16 after his 32 possessions and 3 goals. Biglands, Bode, Laddams, Hart and Stevens all superb. Bode and Stevens also kicking 4 goals each. And it's always enjoyable to beat the Doggies, especially here at Amy Stadium. They have inflicted some pain upon us here. Let's take a look at the leaderboard after the 16th game of the season, and Ben Hart leading still on 120 votes, followed by Mark Bickley, 104, Simon Goodwin, Matthew Bode, as we mentioned earlier, had a sensational year. Tyson Edwards, expect a late charge there. McLeod, Bassett, Johnson, Mark Stevens, Welsh, Smart, Rashuto, Burton on 66, Stengline, expect him to move on 61, Doughty, Clark, McGregor and Biglands. As we go down to Johncock, Laddams, Perry, Crowell, Massey, that is Chris Massey with a K, apologies for that, Fitzgerald, Gallagher, Shell and Matner. Let's go to James with a man that now wears long pants.
It's quite extraordinary, Kim. It's the charge of the old brigade. We've got Bickley and Hart at the top. And a fine season for yourself, and at the minute, doing beautifully in the count.
Yes, I'm more worried about that haircut that I had before. Look, it's been good. Obviously, there's a lot of players who could obviously take this out tonight, so it's going to be pretty close.
You've played some fine football. Your best season?
Pretty consistent. Obviously, there's things you'd do better if you had another go at it, but it's been okay.
Now, I might just switch the focus, Benjamin, for a second, because your beautiful wife to my left, Naomi, is about 4 days away from delivering. And isn't she just looking magnificent too, by the way? This is her just to my left here. She's literally come out tonight with 4 days from the due date. How are things travelling? Obviously pretty well, or you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, not bad. I'm feeling pretty good considering, so...
Now, what if your husband's mob had lobbed in the grand final and it had decided to come early? What was going to happen then?
Well, I would have had some words with my obstetrician, I think, but it didn't. I mean, unfortunately, it didn't happen. So, yes, would have been nice.
Any emergency runs home this evening, Benjamin, or all going to be fine?
Well, if things happen, we've got plenty of napkins on the table, but but I'm sure we'll make an exit pretty quickly if that does occur.
He's a class act. I love him. We're going to go to a break. This is the Crows Club champion. Back with more after this.
The queen of cosmetic surgery.
Same business, new name, Pamela. How did you manage that?
At it again despite her unhappy customers.
Where is the public's protection?
Women lured into serious surgery by giveaways and gimmicks.
You can't just walk away.
Plus warranty.
If it's a car, it should go.
Are they worth the paper they're written on?
I hate being ripped off.
How to avoid the runaround.
It's not what we expect as a consumer.
And students doubling their reading speed.
I think it's going to help it.
Nissan presents a current affair.
Unspoil yourselves. Catch the Sea Link to Kangaroo Island.
Current release CDs and DVDs, top 40, jazz, rock, blues, you name it. Pearl Jam, Santana, Billy Joel. Retail price $24.99 anywhere in Adelaide. Forget that, they're repossessed. Halve it. Over 20,000 to choose from. There's 1,200 like this, just $1 each. Repossessed, Sydney's Froggy Music in liquidation, CDs and box sets all long weekend.
Mr. Paper on 7-day market. Go to Marion at Richmond Road. Adelaide's only 7-day market. Open 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. every day.
Look for the Locality Guide in the Advertiser Real Estate section every week. Proudly brought to you by First National Real Estate. Visit our website at www.firstnationalsa.com.au and hit the quick find code to get further details on these and other properties. Locality Guide, the quickest way to sell your property at the optimum price. First National Real Estate. We're listening.
What's your lifestyle? Visit City Living Furniture and grab the latest designs of contemporary furniture catalogue. These and many more ideas in our in-store catalogue available now. City Living Furniture, it's your lifestyle.
You don't have to feel drunk to be a drunk driver. Drink drive, you'll be sorry.
Unspoil yourselves. Take the Sea Link ferry and your car to Kangaroo Island for 2 nights from just $196 per person, including accommodation and ferry fares. Call 131301 or your travel agent.
To centre half forward, True. Punch came from Colbert. Here's the dangerous McLeod. Robbins has got to chase Bickley, but Mark Bickley's too good for him. And kicks it, and kicks a goal. He's having a fine year. Here's the former captain, Mark Bickley.
The key aspect about Mark Bickley is his ability to play at this level for such a long period of time and to play at such a high level of performance. And I think that's a true test of your real champion players.
And we made our Adelaide Football Club debut together on the bench, I think it was, at Windy Hill against Essendon. His commitment to the game, to training, to his preparation has seen him become one of the real professionals of the game. He'll just give it everything he's got, and I think he's been a great example and a really valuable asset to our footy club.
He's a very solid citizen, and I think he always has the club at heart in anything that he does do. And for him to be the first recipient of a testimonial year, I think also speaks a lot about the type of person that Mark is.
And what a tremendous career it has been and still is, and what a tremendous night it was at the Hilton going back early in the year after defeating Hawthorn. Well, talking about earlier, the best team man was awarded, and it was won by Mark Stevens. Now, Mark's been in sensational form. Of course, he was the runner-up for the 2001 Club Champion Award. He plays at centre-half forward, which is the toughest position on the ground, and he's an integral part of the Adelaide Football Club. And joining me now is the coach, Gary Ayres. Now, the best team man. Gary, tell us, in your eyes, what makes a great team man?
Well, as you've already mentioned, Kim, it's certainly about the position that obviously the particular player plays. Also, too, the fact is how he contributes throughout the course of a game, and obviously throughout the course of the year, and also, too, what happens off the field as well.
Now, tell us a little bit about Mark Stevens from a coach's perspective. They say there was rumour in the early days he was very casual. Have you seen that side of him?
The last couple of years, I think he's become a little bit more professional, and his form's really vindicated how much more professional he's become.
He's just hanging off every word there at the moment. Well, Gary, just quickly, the year, how did you see the year? Like I said before, there were a lot of positives there. Obviously didn't achieve the ultimate prize.
Yeah, we did, Kim, obviously, and look, from an improvement point of view, the graph is certainly on the up. You know, we came from 8th last year to 4th, but we certainly know that if we're going to go from 4th and further higher up, how hard that will be. But I'm sure the guys are very much looking forward to do the work to actually get to the top of the tree, hopefully.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Ayres, the coach of the Adelaide Football Club.
Thank you.
Time now to continue the highlights and the voting. Let's go to round 17. No, in fact, let's not do that. Let's go down to the man, who maybe is not casual. James Brayshaw is.
I just said they've burned us, but they come back to us now, Steve, which is very nice. Now, listen, let's cut straight to the chase. The Coach's Award, the Best Team Man Award, sorry. Does that mean you do as you're told, or tell us a little about it?
Oh, yeah, it's, I'd much prefer a yellow jacket in the cupboard, but I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it, and that's something I'll look back on with a lot of pride.
Now, voted by Dermot Brereton during the course of the year on Channel 9 as being the best performed centre-half forward in the competition, that's a fairly big rap.
You must have seen Port Adelaide play this year, because Warren Treadray's not a bad centre-half forward.
Well, talking about good centre-half forwards, you've got one coming to the club next year, of course, former teammate of yours. And how do you feel about Wayne Carey's arrival?
Oh, it's a real boon for the club. I think he's a sensational player, and Scotty didn't like that comment, but yeah, it's sensational. I'm really looking forward to next year.
Now, mate, just before we let you go, you're heading up to Cairns on the team trip in the next couple of days. What does that hold for you?
Oh, looking forward to it. I was going on afterwards, going to High Tarago and drive down the East Coast with Scott and Rhett. I don't think Scott's coming now.
He got his interview out of the way earlier, now he can just pot you. Is that what he's doing?
Oh, yeah, me and Rob and Rhett might kick him off the tour, I think.
All right, well done, mate. It's a terrific award and another fine season for Mark Stevens. Let's go back to Kim Billy.
Thank you, James, and congratulations to Mark Stevens, winner of the Best Team Man Award. Now we will go to round 17 and round 20, the highlights and the voting, and of course round 17. Well, it was a great game. It was an infamous game in some respects. It was at Skilled Stadium.
One of the best captain's performances you will ever see at Skilled Stadium as the Crows hung tough to beat the Cats by 3 points. 5 goals from the Roo in a seesawing battle, the win establishing Adelaide in the top 4.
This kick to put the Adelaide Crows in front by 3 points. Risciuto has 4.
Nigel Smart showed why he's a 3-time All-Australian, completely destroying Kent Kingsley. Stengline and Edwards were in super form. Mark Risciuto only picking up 9 votes for his heroics, and Brian Binky caught the eye with some second-half magic.
Still on the road and still playing well. A 7-goal-to-1 opening term set up an important win over the Swans in Sydney. The victory guaranteeing the Crows a spot in the finals.
Thinks about Goodwin, now goes to goal. High kick, bending kick, goal!
Simon Goodwin starred once again, joined by Mark Stevens as the club's best. Brett Biglands was the game's dominant ruckman, Brett Burton kicked 4, and it was business as usual for Ben Hart and Tyson Stengline.
The Bombers came to Footy Park in round 19 and copped a 48-point thumping from the Crows. The win taking them to 5 in a row, equaling a club record. A 6-goal-to-1 third term was enough to put Essendon away.
Flew way too early. Umpire said it was okay. He wanted the ball. That's a terrible handball.
Brett Biglands produced possibly his best game of the year, judged equal best along with Smart, Stengline and Stevens. Mark Bickley continued his best season since '93, and Chris Laddams enjoyed a dazzling game against his former club.
Showdown 2 in 2002, and again it was a bruising encounter. The Crows had their chances, but key injuries cost them as their hometown rivals again came away with the points.
It has ebbed and flowed in every quarter. The handball back towards Edwards, kicks long. Stevens looking for the fly, and does he take the mark? He does!
It was a bitter pill for the Crows, but Chris Laddams proved a huge positive when clearly voted Adelaide's best for the game, with Doughty, Hart, Stengline, Clark and Crowell all having an honest crack.
Adelaide going down by 8 points in Showdown 12. Let's take a look at the leaders board after the first 20 games of the season, and we see Ben Hart leading by 20 votes, a handy lead over Mark Bickley. Of course, I'm not sure, well, I am sure that we won't see a lot more of Bix tonight. Edwards, Goodwin, Stevens, Bode, Smart, McLeod, Stengline on 97, followed by Johnson, Burton, Rasciuto, Bassett, Doughty, Welsh, McGregor, Biglands and Clark. They are the first 2 pages. This is the third. Laddams doing very well mid-season and the latter part of the season. Johncock, Crowell, Perry, Massey, Matner, Fitzgerald, Gallagher and Shell. Let's go to Jimmy Brayshaw again. All yours, James.
All right, Tyson Edwards is sitting here with me, and mate, you've had a fantastic year. It was arguably your best year. Do you see it that way?
I don't know about my best year, but yeah, it was certainly you know, pretty good, and I guess not quite getting to the grand final was a bit of a disappointment for all of us, but yeah, it was okay, I guess.
The experienced players, we see Mark Bickley and Ben Hart on this table, Nigel Smart as well, a fine, if aged a little table, this one we're sitting on here, mate, have all got better as they get older. Is there a secret to the Adelaide Footy Club?
Well, I think that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn the little trait that they've got that keeps them going. But yeah, there's certainly been fantastic footballers for this club, and hopefully I'll grab some little tip off them.
Now, that preliminary final, you were just operating beautifully before you were thugged from behind. Do you remember anything about it?
Oh, yeah, I remember the first quarter, but apart from that, it's a bit of a blur. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing not to go on from there.
Now, we're getting a reasonably tight shot of you there, and the snout's just nice and straight, so you haven't had any structural damage?
No, so I've had it fixed up, so it should be right now. It's a bit of... Oh, look at it. Yeah, it's pretty... it's a pretty big snout, so to miss it would have been a good shot.
Now, you're heading off to Ireland in the morning with Mark Bickley. Must be excited about that.
Yeah, look, it'll be good. You know, it's pretty exciting for me. The first time to go away with the boys, and now Mark's come along with us, so he'll look after me, no doubt.
Have you got a feeling about a golden jacket? Do you think you might be leaving with that tonight?
No, I think a little man alongside of me here with a good haircut when he first came to the club will take that one away.
Sitting in between me, you and your beautiful wife, Mandy. Mate, thank you very much for joining us tonight and having a great season, Tyson Edwards. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with plenty more after this. Oh, sorry, I'm operating the wrong camera. Back with plenty more after this.
It's my life, it's now or never. It's my life.
7:30 Tuesday, Clark Kent, a mere mortal and powerless.
It must have transferred your power somehow.
Now a loose cannon is out of control.
Nothing on this earth can stop me.
Smallville, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
If you've ever had to organise a weekend away, imagine getting 120 people halfway around the world on a critical overseas deployment. We packed 4 Hercules and a Boeing 707 with everything to make a squadron self-sufficient, from Hornet missiles to combat rations and medical supplies. At the end of the day, we realized it was a massive undertaking, and I was pretty proud of the team and myself for doing that.
A century of cars, the classic car collection. Every fortnight, a die-cast model and a fascinating magazine. Part 1 Mini Cooper and Collector's Box, only $7.95.
Concentrate.
Radiant Concentrate. Extra concentrated, extra clean.
Earth, what you'd eat if you lived on Mars.
How can it be that we can say so much without words? Must be love, love, love.
I think leadership is about bringing the best out of people, and that's why I became an Air Force officer. It's given me the environment to explore my potential and those of others.
Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell in a juggernaut of a blockbuster.
It's a major movie violation.
Tango and Cash coming up next on 9.
The Adelaide players gave and received, and what about that right jab by Stinger? How quick was that? Okay, we're down to the business end of the season, or the voting. Let's take a look at the leaders board. Ben Hart leading on 138 from Mark Bickley, Tyson Edwards, Simon Goodwin, Stevens, Bode, Smart, McLeod and Stengline. Just the 2 minor round games remaining. Let's take a look at the highlights and the voting from round 21 and 22.
The Tigers fronted up for their second beating at the hands of the Crows for the season. In the end, it was 22 points. Kane Johnson's 100th game celebrated in the manner he deserved, the win sewing up a spot in the top 4.
High towards goal. It's cleared the pack. I know we haven't had many so far, but that is goal of the day.
Methodical and courageous, Ben Hart was again the club's best, sharing the spotlight with centre-half forward Mark Stevens. Johnson and Stengline displayed their class, and Laddams, McGregor and Crow continued to impress.
Wild and windy in Perth for the final round, and the Crows dealt with Fremantle, erasing the memory of last year's final round loss to the same club. 40 points the margin, but it was all over at half-time. The Crows finishing the minor round in 3rd position.
Twists, turns, kicks, bounces,
Andrew McLeod led Adelaide's disposals for 2002, and he also led the votes against Freo. Ken McGregor ran amok at both ends of the ground. Johnson and Stengline placing their skills on show again. And the Birdman kicked 4, finishing as the Crows' leading goal kicker for the season.
Well, that completes the voting for the minor round. Let's take another look at the leaders board as it stands. And Ben Hart still on top with 156, followed by Tyson Edwards, 131. Stevens, 124. Bickley, 118. Stengline, 116. McLeod, 114. Goodwin, 108. Nigel Smart, 106. And Matthew Bode on 104. And joining me once again is the CEO of the Adelaide Football Club, Stephen Trigg. Benny Hart with a nice lead, but we know anything can happen in football.
Anything can. He does have a nice little lead, but I think the evenness behind him tells you a fair bit about how much, as I said earlier, much of an even contribution we had from everybody during the year, which is terrific.
Well, Stephen's back with us now because we will be counting the votes from the remaining 3 finals live. Let's take a look at the highlights from the qualifying final between Adelaide and Brisbane, and I think this may be fairly short.
After kicking the opening goal, Adelaide's finals campaign went disastrously wrong against Brisbane at the Gabba. A 71-point loss, possibly the boys' worst for the year, and it was back to basics in the quest for further September success.
Good tackle from McLeod. Welsh. Prosciutto just pumps it back in onto the chest of Bassett. He's kicked 5 goals. Comes in and pops it through. 2 in a row to the...
Ken McGregor, 8 votes. Mark Prosciutto, 6. 3 players with 3 votes, Andrew Crowell, Mick Dowdy and Tyson Edwards. 4 players with 2 votes, Matthew Clark, Graham Johncock, Chris Laddams and Chris Massey. And 2 players with 1 vote, Rob Shirley and Tyson Stengline.
So that is the voting there for the qualifying final as we now head to the semi-final, which of course was played at the MCG, and perhaps one of the all-time great semi-finals, if not great games of football. It was an absolute cracker. Adelaide taking on Melbourne at the MCG.
A stunning come-from-behind 12-point win over Melbourne, and the Crows were 1 step closer to the ultimate prize. It was a real shootout at the G, first surrendering a 40-point lead, then that amazing last quarter to claw back an impressive victory.
Goes long. Oh, great mark for the side. Stengline can play out here. Tyson Stengline goes for home. Into the goal square almost. They're wrestling up the...
Tyson Edwards, 12 votes, along with Tyson Stengline. 2 players on 11, Johnson and Stevens. 10 votes to Matthew Clark, 9 to Goodwin, 8 to Smart, 7 to Biglins and Johncock and 5 to Chris Massey. 2 votes each to Chris Laddams, Ken McGregor and Andrew McLeod, and 1 vote to Brian Benke, Matthew Bode and Ben Hart.
So that is the voting there for the semi-final. Just unfortunately the 1 game remaining. It was the prelim final. Adelaide were very brave going down to Collingwood.
A 28-point defeat at the hands of Collingwood signalled the end to season 2002. A gallant fight with the options running out saw the Crows finish the year in 4th position, a spot many places higher than a host of experts had predicted at the start of the season.
No room, kicks, it'll drop short to the left of the goals. Burton scoots around, can go across the body, back towards the square, he keeps it low. It's a mark to Crowd, and it's a goal to Crowd.
Graham Johncock scored 9 votes, Mark Prosciutto 8, 7 each to Clark and Massey, 6 each to Goodwin and Stengline, 5 votes to 4 players, Bassett, Hart, McGregor and Smart, 4 votes to Kane Johnson, 3 each to Dowdy and McLeod, 2 to Biggins and Welsh, 1 to Burton and Chris Laddams. Ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure in announcing that the winner of the 2002 Club Champion Award is Ben Hart.
Now I'd like to call on last year's club champion Andrew McLeod to present the gold jacket to the 2002 winner Ben Hart. And it now gives me great pleasure to call on the chairman of the Adelaide Football Club to present the Malcolm Blight Medal.
Congratulations to the club champion. On behalf of everyone at the club, congratulations. Very well done to Ben Hart on an absolutely outstanding season. As you have already heard, he played every minute of every game and has been a wonderful, reliable player. Once again, congratulations to our 2002 club champion and the Malcolm Blight medalist, Ben Hart.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please remain upstanding as we propose a toast to the winner? So top up your glass of Sir James. As we propose a toast to the 2002 Adelaide Football Club club champion, Ben Hart. Well, Benny, we'll allow you to have a quick little sip there, but we would dearly love to have a word.
Put that in.
Oh, we can just hold that, I think. Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, it's a little bit unexpected. Look, I was reasonably happy with my year, but I think there was a lot of other guys who were obviously very worthy recipients of this up here. Yeah, a bit surprised, but thankful for it, for sure.
You seem like you've been around forever, but you're still only a young fella, what, 27?
28 now.
28?
A long way since that haircut, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that was a beauty. Yeah. Now, what about the future? If we can just go forward a little bit, how long do you think you can go? How's the body feeling?
Body's feeling really good. Obviously, you get your little, few little nicks during the year, but feeling pretty good. And I've never ever set a time limit on myself or an age or anything like that. So, as long as the club wants me around and I'm still enjoying my footy, then I'll stick at it.
Now, Benny, what do you have on the coach? You're the only player in the whole AFL, and there's been a stack of them going around, that has not gone to the interchange bench once.
Yeah, actually, I've got to come and pick my lawnmower up. Look, I don't know. It's I've been pretty lucky, very lucky, touch wood with injuries, and I suppose there's always a match-up that I can, be put against. So. Who knows?
Well, Benny, I'm sure there's a few people you'd like to thank, including your beautiful wife, Naomi.
Definitely. It's hard where to start. Obviously, first of all, to the players. As I said earlier, it could have gone to anyone tonight because there was a number of fantastic players during the year. And without them kicking the ball to me or feeding it out to me, obviously I wouldn't be able to get a kick. But they've been sensational, and this group we've got together, I believe, can keep going and go on to the next step. So I'm very keen to start again and hopefully have the same bunch of blokes together and see if we can go a bit further. To the support staff, to Trevor Jakes, Gary Googe, and all his team, the physios, the doctors, the trainers. Without those, they're unsung heroes, really. They never get any accolades for what they do, but they do a hell of a lot. Before games, etc. The coaching staff, obviously. I love those blokes now. They keep growing in stature with me, I'll tell you. No, they've been fantastic, and I think this year we've come a long way with regards to obviously the way themselves and the leadership group especially, but all the other players communicate with each other and things are going really well. The footy club, just for backing me in, I suppose, at the start when I had a bad head and looking for a game, and to keep going and to keep backing me in. So thank you to them. And last but by no means least, and I apologise if I've forgotten anyone, the sponsors as well. Thank you very much. To my wife, Naomi, there's a saying that the luckiest man on the face of the earth is the one who finds true love, and I've definitely found that. I've definitely found that in my wife and especially my son. And as you've heard earlier, I'm only 4 days away from having my second child, and I can't wait for that to happen. Yeah, what else do you say? She's been just hovering on my wife, as I'd love to do more often, but probably can't say that, but she's a great deal of support to me, especially towards the end of the year this year when we had to travel a lot. And I was never home. She's very pregnant. She had another child to look after, but not once did she ever ask me to not go to training or to hold back or to help her out. It was all about me and my footy. So, Naomi, I thank you very, very much. Kim, I don't know where to go from there. Mum and Dad, who are here tonight, thank you very much for all your support. I help out with Zach as well and with me throughout my whole career, but so thank you very much. And if I've forgotten anyone, I do apologise, but I love all of you.
I tell you what, Benny, you certainly won Naomi's heart and you've captured the heart of everyone else tonight. That was a magnificent acceptance speech. Please savour the moment. Stand over there with Bob as we take a look at the leaders board, the complete leaders board, as we welcome back James Brayshaw, who's been a mild sensation at ground level today. OK, let's have a look at the magnificent win by Ben Hart.
Yes, a terrific performance from him. Tyson Edwards, who we spoke to, was magnificent. In fact, the two Tysons parked there, and it makes for good reading, doesn't it? That first page, Stevens, Goodwin, Johnson, McLeod, Smart and Bickley.
Some absolute superstars there and some emerging stars as well. Matthew Bode, McGregor, Rashudo, well, he is a sensation, a great leader. Brett Burton, we like to expect a lot more from him next year. Plenty of those big grabs. Nathan Bassett, Doughty had a sensational year. Clark's second half was superb, along with Biglan's, really came of age. Scotty Welsh, let's hope we can keep him sound. If he can get through tonight OK, I'm sure Steve-O will look after him.
Yes, as we flip the page, Laddams was very good, especially in the latter stages. Graham Johncock, who we also heard from earlier, the emerging talent, Crowell, Massey, Perry, Gallagher, Matt Nabenke and Fitzgerald and Brian Benke, of course, leaving the club with their best wishes.
As we go to our final page, Daniel Schell, Matthew Scher, Evan Hewitt, Ben Marsh, and then we've got Shirley and Nelson there. So that basically concludes the 2002 Club Champion presentations. We do applaud again Ben Hart, the champion for 2002. We hope you've enjoyed the evening and we hope you enjoy the rest of the night. Good night.
Another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports. Saturday.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Join Morticia Kilby for a spooky special. Funniest home videos.
Tales of the absurd.
Watch if you dare. 6:30 Saturday on 9.
Hello again, Rob Kelvin from the Port Adelaide Best and Fairest presentation night at the Convention Centre. You'll hear two lots of noise tonight. We've got the applause coming from inside with the presentations going on and the votes are being counted. And also you'll hear music from downstairs. Apparently it's the first year's anniversary of Regatta's Restaurant. We were here for the opening, by the way. Talking football, with me is Vicky Schwartz from the National 9 newsroom. And Vicky, just a few moments ago, the coach, Mark Williams, was in there to make his speech, his summary of the season, and there is definitely unfinished business.
He was quite angry, wasn't he, Rob? At the end of the Brisbane game, after Port bowed out of the finals, Mark Williams was quite upbeat. He was saying how the club had improved. But tonight, I think he's looked back after a few weeks' grace and he's really thought that the club did underachieve. He went to the grand final last weekend and he said it was almost a travesty that Port wasn't there. And he really pointed out in the Collingwood game the disgraceful mistakes that wouldn't be accepted in junior footy that were made by his players.
He talked about dropped marks, play gone on the goal square,
missed goals,
opportunities for goals.
5 shots in a row they missed.
So it's fair to say that they're hungry.
They're very hungry for next year, which is good news for Port fans, but perhaps not so good news for the opposition players.
OK, let's have a look at the votes in the Best and Fairest, the John Cahill Medal, after round 16. And we have a big shift here with Warren Treadray now leading on 96 points, Matthew Primus 92, Josh Franco 90, Darryl Wakelin 90, Adam Kingsley 86, Peter Burgoyne 83, Brett Montgomery 82, Chad Corns 80, Josh Carr 77 and Damien Hardwick 75. They're the leaders on the leaderboard. Big move has been Matthew Primus, the skipper.
Yeah, well, I think after the first few votes, Matthew Primus was actually coming 10th, and of course he's jumped right up to second, and he's trailing Warren Treadray by only 4 votes. So can Warren Treadray make it back-to-back John Cale medals?
Also, it's very interesting too to have a look at all the All-Australians there. Treadray, Primus, Franco and Montgomery also in the leaders board. Chad Corns, who's going to join them on the trip to Ireland, he's there as well.
And of course Matthew Primus will be the captain of Australia in Ireland, given that Michael Voss was pulled out with injury and he was the Australian captain, so Port has a huge representation over there.
And Vicky, you'll have the full story on the Port Adelaide Best and Fairest, the John Cale medal, plus what the coaches had to say in National 9 News tomorrow night.
We're heading for an exciting finish, can't wait.
And we'll be back within the hour with the winner. We'll see you then.
Good evening and welcome to your Friday night at the movies. Tonight, Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell are Tango and Cash.